Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista, and today I need to kind of get my freezers a little bit organized, and I need to get one of my pantries organized. We have a whole bunch of chicken legs, and we honestly don't really like them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the bone-in texture. I'm not sure. Maybe I haven't found the most amazing recipes to use with them. So what I am actually going to do is I am going to try to can it. I have never attempted to can chicken before, so this is going to be an experiment. But I need to kind of get it organized, and I have my gloves on because it is cold in my freezers. But I need to get the freezer kind of organized because all of the chicken legs, again, because we don't eat it, they're all at the bottom of the freezer. So I need to kind of dig through it. What I'm gonna do, whenever I start an organizing project, I always take stuff out and I lay it. I don't have very much room in here because this is Steve's garage and he has a project car he's working on right now. So I like to lay everything out, and then from there I kind of go through and organize it. It is kind of chilly out today, so I'm not too worried about stuff melting. This would not be a good project to do in the summer, which is why I have not done it in the summer. So let's get into this freezer and see what we're working with. As you can see, this freezer is full to the brim. This is not ideal in any way at all. You really technically should have your freezer like 75% full and not like this. This is causing it to get a lot of frost on it, which is not good. So like I said, I need to get this kind of organized and cleaned out a bit. We have this other upright freezer, which is where I keep a lot of our beef and then our boneless, skinless chicken breast, because that, out of all of our meat, the boneless, skinless is the one that we actually eat. I need to make some ground chicken. So when we process, this is a bag of chicken bits. When we process our chickens, I save all of the backs from them because we don't usually eat whole chickens. So I end up parting all of our chickens out when we process them. So I take all of the chicken backs and I actually scrape all of the meat off of them. We do save the chicken backs for making chicken broth. I saved the necks, the backs, and the feet, all for chicken broth. With this meat, I am going to make a ground chicken with it. I need to get this defrosting also, so I am actually going to pull this bag out so that we can make the ground chicken together when we are canning the chicken. Okay, let's get this started to empty out. These are the peppers and the onions that we made together. So as I'm going through the freezer, I remembered that we actually processed a whole bunch of roosters. Steven came home one day and surprised me with some baby chicks that were on sale at Tractor Supply. And he ended up picking up some unsexed variety. So we got 20 of them, and out of the 20, I think maybe 9 of them were actual hens. So we had a lot of roosters. So we actually just ended up processing them. I think what I'm gonna do with these is I am going to make a chicken broth with these. I'm just gonna put the whole roosters in because they are kind of small. Actually, this one is probably the biggest one we've got, but this is like the average size of them right here, pretty small. That way I get 2 things out of them. I get those used up, get some freezer space cleared out, and then get chicken and broth. So I think maybe that's what I will do. I am not gonna try to lift that box out because it is very, very heavy, but you can see what I'm talking about by the stuff forming on it because there's just, it's too full. So these 2 boxes down here are chicken legs. And there are some wings actually that I need to pull out because we do like the wings. I make air fryer wings. There is 5 whole chickens there. We don't eat a lot of whole chickens. That's why they are at the bottom of the freezer. Then right here, we actually have some beef fat. I requested the beef fat again, and then I have some chicken feet over there. With the beef fat, I actually want to try to cook it down and make a tallow with it. I just have not had the time because, again, with summer trying to do all of that preserving from the garden, I just have just thrown it in here. So I am going to try to scrape some of this ice down and then get the chicken out. I want to kind of show you guys what I have laying all over the floor here. So this pile over here is all like my vegetables. It's all the green peppers, my stuffed jalapenos, stuff like that. Then I have a box that is apple scraps from when I made an applesauce, and then I have some more frozen fruit in there. I have a box of ground beef. These are all of the roosters. Those are some roasts that we got from our cow that we ordered, the half cow. So we have some briskets there and some roasts and another box of ground beef. And then I have a bag of frozen raspberries there, and then some flour that can come out because it's been in the freezer now for some time. And I think that's some cod right there. I'm actually gonna go and grab a big bowl so that I can put the chicken legs in so that they can actually defrost. I am not doing the canning today because I kind of wanted to get these freezers organized and that pantry organized, so the canning will probably happen tomorrow. I also want to wait for these to defrost because I don't know if I can, but I'm assuming I cannot can them frozen. So I need them to defrost. So let me just go and grab that bowl. A lot of them are 2-pound packages. So I'm gonna pull out, and I will actually be, I think I'm gonna take the meat off of the bone. I haven't decided quite yet if I'm gonna can it bone in or take the meat off. I'm thinking maybe to grab 10 packages. We got 10 packages of those. I also, this time around with our last batch, I went even further with it. I did, instead of doing the whole cut legs, I actually parted them out, did drumstick, and then boneless, skinless thighs. So I have quite a bit of packages of those thighs also. I think I'm just gonna put them into this freezer because this one has some space down here. I did the wings in 2-pound packages because that's usually how many wings we eat, like in a setting. So I'll get some wings put in here also. That's perfect. Now I'm down to 1 box for the chicken. Okay, I kind of scraped out some of the ice that was around it. I'm thinking that some of the reason I have so much ice on here is because not only did I have it too full, but that it was not closing correctly, which was causing it to not, I mean, now it's got a pretty good seal, but I'm thinking that it was causing it to not close correctly, and I'm wondering if this basket is causing that. See. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I think I'm gonna take that basket off. Because I have it scraped out now, I'm gonna kind of organize it a little bit better. And I'm definitely taking that basket out. I have all my chicken stuff here. I have a box of ground beef down here. And in this empty box right here, I am going to put my roast. I don't think I have room in this other freezer. A little bit of room. I could put a couple in there. Actually, I'm thinking I want to put my vegetables in here, not my roast. I'm going to see if I have an extra box somewhere. All right, I found an extra box. It's a good thing Steve orders so many car parts. We get a lot of boxes. So I am going to put the vegetables in this box. Actually, I'm going to put the roast and the extra chicken in this box, and then the vegetables I will put in this box. With this brisket, I've learned how to make corned beef. So I think I'm going to make a corned beef, but I don't have it on the menu this month, so I think I'm going to put that on the menu for next month. Our neighbor is an avid bow hunter, and he actually kills quite a bit of deer every year. He's a very, very good hunter, and him and his wife don't eat a lot of deer. They eat certain cuts, but the other stuff, they pretty much just call their friends and say, hey, do you want some of this deer? So they offered us some deer last year, and we actually had cheddar summer sausage made out of it, and it is super yummy. So we have about 4 of those left. Those are really good to put into like a pasta salad. Amazing. It's a huge blessing to have a neighbor that is a very good hunter, because I'm gonna keep this shut because I don't want it to go bad. Because right now in the state of Kentucky, it is very, very difficult to find land to hunt on for Stephen right now. And so we have not been able to get any type of deer or anything like that in this area yet. So we're hoping that he can potentially find some land soon, and then he'll be able to go and hunt on it. We only have like 5.5 acres here, which obviously we can't hunt on because there's houses all around us, and we can't be shooting a bow or a gun in the direction of someone's house. So we're hoping to be able to find some land that Stephen can go and hunt on soon. Well, not soon, because the season is definitely already well on its way. So we're hoping next year. Right, so this empty box here is where we're gonna put the vegetables. The other thing too is I don't want to cram that other freezer full of stuff either, because then I'm just pretty much shifting all my stuff in here, which is going to cause the exact same problem with that. That freezer will have to work twice as hard. So I did get quite a bit cleaned out though by taking those chickens out. So good thing. It's the game of Tetris. All right, I don't think this other box is going to fit in here. So we did free up quite a bit of space. You see that it's not, I have this much room on the top, which is perfect. So kind of got my roast and stuff over here, my vegetables, I've got some poppers here, the brisket here, my ground beef there, my soup and broth making stuff, and then my berries right there. So I'm happy with that. That I don't want to get very much more fuller than that. This, I'm happy with this. It's not too crammed. I mean, it is pretty full, but it's not super full. So I've got chicken down on the bottom there. I've got roast. I've got more ground beef and sausage. That's where I kind of keep my cheese and my bacon. And then I've got my coffee and more frozen vegetables on this side. I had to go and quickly change because I decided that I wanted to have one of my kombuchas for lunch, and I opened it and the whole thing exploded all over me and all over my counters in my kitchen. So I had to clean that mess up. But this is my back pantry, and this is the pantry I kind of want to get organized, and these spices I want to get organized. Now when I say organized, I just mean like I want to find out what I'm low on. I'm going to be making an inventory list, and then once I have my inventory list, then I will go on the Azure website and I will price stuff and then kind of compare it to what my local Amish is offering. I'm just trying to figure out the best plan of action because it is super tight in here and I can't really see what I'm working with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything out of here, like out of these shelves, and I'm going to go and put it on my kitchen table. And then for my kitchen table, we can kind of go through it and we can look and see, oh, okay, well, I need this one, and then write it down. So let's get these all emptied out. I also want to get this top shelf. This is where I store my my tomato paste and my extra olives. Tomato paste and olives we buy in bulk, and the only reason we buy in bulk is because we go through a lot of olives. Like we go through probably 3 cans of olives a week, so I like to have a pretty good stockpile of that. I don't want to run out of them. Not only that, but they are, like everything else, they are going up in price, and I want to be able to kind of control my grocery budget. And then if I set aside a certain amount once every, like, let's say 3 months to go and buy a case of olives, and that's what I do. So let's get this all, I think the olives and this stuff I will just put on here. All of these things, the spices and the cooking stuff in here, we will bring it and we will put it on the dining room table. Got everything empty. This is a lot of stuff. I did not realize how much I could really cram in that tiny little spot, and I still have 2 drawers that are full of stuff, but I don't need to go through them because they are just like, I have my like angel food cake pans and my extra foil, all that stuff is in there, my extra baggies, so I don't need to empty that out because I can see clearly what I have. So like I was mentioning in that other video, I think what I am going to do with these smaller jars, I think I'm going to be labeling the tops of them because I take way too much time to go in there and try to find what I'm looking for to refill this spice drawer. This is my spice drawer in my kitchen. I have my teas up here, like my extra teas. I have more tea over there. I like teas. But this is like a lot of like the Trader Joe spices or like my homemade mixes, like this is ranch dressing. I keep them in here. And then my more everyday use ones, I keep in these tiny little containers that you see me refill. So I think what we'll do is we will go through these spices and determine all what needs to be refilled, and then we can refill with those jars. And then once we're done that process, then we can kind of look at those jars and say, okay, this is what we need to put on the list to make sure that we have extra of. I also noticed that I have a whole bunch of bags over there full of spices that are not actually emptied into their containers. So I want to kind of go through and just make sure that I'm optimizing my space back there, just because we are so limited with our space here that I gotta optimize every tiny little corner that I have for storage. So, and I don't want to run out of something. I really don't. Like I always say, when you make stuff from scratch, you need to make sure that you always have a good supply of it on hand, because you don't want to be in the middle of a recipe and then find out that you don't have what you need. And for me, I don't, like Walmart and Piggly Wiggly are my stores here. And a lot of times I'm not going to find my organic stuff there. So I can't run out of it. I can't wait for my Azure order. I need to make sure that I have it on hand and stocked. Get this one emptied also. Sorry, I hate having my back to you guys. They're all out. I'm gonna take this opportunity and wipe this cupboard out also. We're just gonna get this wiped out. This is just a vinegar water solution. Found this at Goodwill, but I'm pretty sure you can get them on Amazon also. I'm going to rearrange some stuff in here. I used to have this over here, but I think it's going to actually function better to have it over here because I keep my most used ones on this one because I can stack them 2 deep. I really wish that I could actually stack them 1 deep, but I do not have enough room for all of these to be stacked 1 deep. Let's start going through these and see which ones we need to top up, and then we'll go over there and we'll grab the ones we need to top up with. All I'm gonna do is just kind of open them up, assess, like this is all spice, and it could use a little bit of topping up, and because we are getting into the baking season, I wanna top that one up. So that one needs to get filled, so we will put that one on the stove. So we have that one separate. Whole allspice. Now I kind of want to put stuff back in here in its light categories. I like to keep like all of the baking stuff. So I consider like allspice, cloves, ginger. I consider all of those like baking spices. So I like to have them kind of all in the same area together. I like to keep my onion stuff together, my herbs together. I am very organized in that way. I like to have everything in their liked categories. So I don't need to top up on these whole allspices, so they're just gonna go in here. I just came across dill weed. Now it is fine. I don't need to, it smells so good. I don't need to replace this one, but I did remember that I have dill weed in my garden that I really want to get harvested. So I am just making a list that, just so that I don't forget, I'm gonna just write down that need to harvest dill weed. I have music playing in the background and I'm really hoping that it does not flag this video. So I am going back and forth turning the music on and off. So this is Cajun seasoning. This is a seasoning that I had actually made. I have a seasoning blend mix for that. So I don't have hardly any of this left. I like to put this on like potatoes, like roasted potatoes. I'll cut up some potatoes, or I'll use canned potatoes and then put a little butter and oil with it, throw some Cajun seasoning on it. It is amazing. So I hardly have any of this left, so I know that I need to make some of this. So I am going to put it over here with my filled jars, and then we'll make that seasoning. These, oh my heavens, they are, oh, they smell so good. That's what I'm kind of, as I'm going through these, I'm like smelling stuff. It's like so good for the sensories. Some of these smells are amazing. So before I put all of these back into here, I'm gonna fill these up. That way I can organize a little bit better. So let's find out what we need to get filled up and then go and pull it from over here. I'm just gonna close these cupboards so that I don't end up hitting my head, because that is definitely something I would do. Okay, so these are already good. So we need to get allspice and sage. I'm gonna grab them probably 2 at a time. I wish YouTube did not flag music, because this project definitely goes a lot easier when you get to listen to music. These are all of the ones that I'm going to be replacing. I also discovered that I do not have any more dark chili powder, so I need to look into that. So then we already talked about the Cajun seasoning, but then I also discovered that I am running low on herb de Provence. So this one, I'm pretty sure I have all the ingredients to make it. I will double check my spice mix, and if I don't, we can look into Azure for that. Let's get these ones filled up. These are super expensive right now. I have noticed that these have gone up in price like an insane amount. I don't know why, but I do actually want to buy a little bit more. They're the whole cloves. I do have to get the ground stuff, but I want these because I actually, I have really bad teeth. Ever since I was a child, I very, very, very much have cavity-prone teeth. I've done a lot of research lately, and black walnut hulls are something that is supposed to reverse cavities, and it is also supposed to help with gingivitis and gum health. So I am going on Wednesday to pick up a dental thing from the Amish. It's a black walnut mouthwash. But cloves, if you have a toothache, you can take a piece of clove, like they look like this. You can take a piece of whole cloves and actually put it in your mouth, and it will numb your mouth. It will numb the spot that is actually in pain. This is my go-to if I am having tooth pain. I'm thinking maybe making a tincture with it, and then that way it's already diluted and I can just do it like a mouthwash and then spit it out. But whole cloves are a miracle for toothache. I was doing a whole bunch of research on them, and one thing that it says is that whole cloves were used by dentists back like way back in the day, and they were used as a numbing agent if they were going to work on a tooth. So it is proven and it does work. I use it all the time. I'm thinking about ordering more turmeric because I've recently thrown out all my food coloring. I don't want to use artificial food coloring anymore. And turmeric is supposed to be like a really good food coloring if you're doing like an orange or a yellow. So I want to kind of stock up some more of these before I start doing Christmas baking so that I can use this as a colorant. We've got everything all filled up into these small containers. So we are just gonna get them put back in here. Let's get these put back in here. Now this is like a process with me. You'll see me put it in and you'll see me take it back out. It's only, this is how I kind of organize. It's a lot of moving things around just to try to figure out the best spot for it. Got all of the spices back in here. They are all organized. So we have the Cajun seasoning, the herbes de Provence out, and then we had that dark chili powder. I put that back in there because I wrote it down that we needed to get it. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to make the Cajun seasoning and we are gonna make the herbes de Provence. So I've got the recipes here. So let's do the Cajun one first. I don't think we're going to double it because all we're going to do is we're going to make enough to fit into this tiny little container because we don't use it a lot. So we'll just maybe, we'll do one batch. So we need, what do we need? 2.5 tablespoons of paprika. 2 tablespoons of salt. 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. We need 1 tablespoon of black pepper. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. 1 tablespoon of cayenne. 1 tablespoon of dry oregano. The reason I have a gallon-sized jar of oregano is because I made the mistake and bought 1 pound of oregano from Azure. And I mean, I do go through a lot of it. Like I bought this like, I think maybe 5-6 months ago and I've already used, it was almost full. So I use a lot of oregano, but still 1 pound is a lot of oregano. So I had it in a gallon-sized jar. I can almost take it out of that one soon. And then we need 1 tablespoon of dried thyme. And then we're just gonna mix this together. I'm just debating how to mix this because there is some clumps of onion salt or onion powder in here. Because I'm taking out a whole bunch of clumps of onion powder, I don't want it to kind of be off. So I'm gonna get some more onion powder in here. Something in here is making my nose want to sneeze. We're gonna mix the original stuff in with this. I went and got my spice blender or my coffee grinder because the onion powder was like really clumpy and I didn't want clumps of it. So now not doubling it still made way too much. So I filled this and I have this bit left. So I'm gonna get a little jar and put the extra amount in my back pantry. Time to do the herbes de Provence. So we need to get, I don't have measurement, it just says equal parts. So thyme, marjoram, tarragon, parsley, rosemary, and lavender. So I am going to do, because again, we're just filling this little tiny thing up, I am going to do 1 tablespoon of each. Herbes de Provence is like a really yummy thing to put on chicken. It flavors it delicious. Same thing, you could do that on potatoes as well. Has a very herby taste to it. This is my homegrown tarragon. It is very, very fresh. Love the smell of it. When I think of the seasoning Herbes de Provence, I think of like the lavender and the tarragon are the two things that really kind of make it that herb. So these are lavenders that I dried, and so all I'm doing is just taking them off of these stems, taking the flowers off. I really want the stems in there. I probably should be using my mortar and pestle. I might get it out. I'm going to get it out because this is what the consistency is supposed to look like, and because I'm using mostly fresh herbs, or dried herbs for my garden, this is what they look like. So they kind of need to be mashed up a bit. Actually, I might get that spice grinder back out again. That way, if there is stems in it, it doesn't really matter. We got it all mixed up. I ran it through the grinder, and that's what, sorry, it's too close. That's what we're left with. So we'll get that put away. And now, one thing that I am low on is Italian seasoning. I looked this up on Azure, and they have Italian seasoning, but it is like the Italian seasoning that you're going to use to make like a dressing with, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like the herb blend of Italian seasoning. So I have all of the seasoning that is actually required to make it, so I am just going to 4 or 5 times that recipe because I want to fill this jar up. So we will get making that. What's in that is oregano, marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, and sage. So to make your own Italian seasoning blend, so this is the herb blend. This is not like if you want to make a dressing or something. This is just Italian seasoning. So you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of dry oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried marjoram, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1/2 teaspoon of dried rosemary, and then 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme. So you're going to put it all together in whatever container you're using to mix it in. It says to whisk it with a whisk, but obviously I'm just using a spoon. And so then that's it. You just put it in an airtight container, and then it will last as long as regular herbs will last. Now these are all, a majority of these are actually from my garden. So I'm just kind of going in and just mashing them up a bit because there's some stems in here with the sage. Give it a quick stir. And then we'll add it to here. I probably should be using a funnel. You know what? I realized that it's probably not a good idea for me to fill this because I don't want it to go like that. I want it to stay fresh. So if I make too much at one time, I'm thinking it's going to go bad quicker. So that's perfect. So we just filled that up. So now I don't need to try to buy that from anywhere. We were able to make it. I think what I'm going to do, this is kind of overwhelming sitting in front of all of these things. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of put the ones that are full, like that I know I don't need to restock, like this yellow mustard seed. Now, the reason I have so much of this and so much ground mustard is because I am going to make my own mustard. I'm not going to make it right now because I don't need to. I have quite a bit in my pantry, but these are good staples to have on hand because I don't ever have to buy mustard again. I don't think forever. So I have a lot of ground mustard and a lot of mustard seeds. So that I know I don't need to restock, so I am gonna go and put that back into my back pantry. I already came back here quickly and did a quick wipe down of these drawers. So I have the mustard in here. I'm gonna leave these here for now. I wiped these ones down also, but when we get done with the spices, then we can put these things back onto these shelves. Just grabbing the things that I know I have a lot of out there. Coriander seed, I have a little, like, I really like to have things like topped up, but I really don't use these very often, so I don't need to have a super stock of them. The ones that I use the most of, I am going to put in the very front because I tend to go through those a little bit more quicker. Now the oregano, again, I'm getting low on it, but this I actually don't need to buy again because I have oregano planted in 2 different spots in my garden, and I will be good for life for oregano because it is a perennial, so it'll keep coming back every year. So I don't need to buy that again. Things like thyme, tarragon, sage, I have all of them already for my garden that I tried. They don't fit in here because they're too big, and I like to kind of save them like this, and then when I'm ready to use them, then take them off of the stems. It kind of keeps the oils a little bit fresher. This is my sage, same situation. I don't want to try to cram it into that tiny thing. I ran out of these size jars very quickly, and I have yet to be able to find them. They are very, very difficult to find. They're the 64 half-gallon ounce ball jars. What is this one? This one is basil. So my basil is pretty low in here, but I'm not going to put it into here. I'm going to leave it in the bag. So I'm going to get these ones put back there. And then this is my rosemary. Now, rosemary, I'm trying to find it. Rosemary is one herb that I will actually order. I'm going to write it down that I need to get because I use the whole bits of rosemary in recipes, and then I use like these ones. And this year my rosemary harvest was not good at all, so I know that I need to get some of those to get that stock up and get me through until next year's gardening season. So I'm gonna write rosemary down on my list of herbs that I need. One thing that I have decided I'm going to do is kind of get a little bit of a stockpile of black beans. I have an empty 5-gallon food grade bucket here. So what I want to do is empty this gallon sized jar of black beans and put it into here. I am ordering a couple more bags of black beans from Azure this month, so I know that I will be able to fill this. And that makes me feel comfortable with having that much black beans on hand because we do eat quite a bit of them, and beans are such a good thing to have on hand. So I have this empty 2-gallon food grade bucket. I am going to empty my pinto beans into this because I have a little bit of pinto beans. I have, I think, 10 pounds of pinto beans. I need to get them canned, but I'm not able to do it right now. So I'm going to put them in this bucket, and then with this empty gallon bucket, I am going to empty my cornmeal into this bucket. I'm going to get some oxygen absorbers for these. I am just taking the label off of the outside of these packages. They're easy to come off, and I'm just going to stick it on here, and then I have another label here, and I'm just going to stick it on the top. And that way I know when it's in my storage what's in here, so I don't have to constantly open and close it. I just took the labels off of those packaging. So this is for the cornmeal, and it's nice because it has the directions on the back also on how to cook it. Yeah, I definitely want to be able to keep that. And then same thing with the pinto beans. I was able to take the label off, and then I also put on the cooking instructions. Alrighty, I am going to get these put away into my bulk storage area. Great, we're moving into the back pantry. Yay, we're almost done. I've been trying to deal with that chicken and just doing other stuff. Okay, so I am gonna get stuff put back in here. These are my tomato paste, and the expiry date is September 1st, 2024. So we'll put those ones on the bottom because those are the newest ones. This is also September 1st, 24. So we will just Get these back. And we'll just put this one on top of the other one. Tomato paste is one of those things that it uses so many tomatoes to make, and probably complained about it enough already, but I had a really bad tomato year, so I just thought I would buy these on Azure. I can't remember how much they were. I bought them a while ago, but I am stocked up now for a while. Get on my stool here. And then we have black olives. Just double checking the expiry date. I probably should have my glasses on. June 13th, 2026. We will definitely be done these before they expire. So I have 1.5 cases of olives. And that is, I think I said it before, but that is something that we go through so much of that I really want to make sure that we have it on stock. This is June. What is this? September. So this one is before. Some of these are newer. So these are September 13th, 25. Olives, again, like everything else, I've noticed they have gone up in price. Put these in here. Feeling good about that much we have. And then I've got a couple packages of tuna. These are good until December 29th, 2024. I like to have protein on hand. Plus, I eat a lot of tuna, like for my lunches and stuff. Stephen doesn't like it, so I usually just eat it for lunch. And then I've got a couple cans of artichoke hearts here. And these ones are good until October 12th, 2025. So I will put these. The other thing that I keep in the back here, because I don't use them very much, I don't make a lot of frozen juices, is these juice containers. So I just keep them at the very back because I don't need to have access to them very much. So that is why they are back there. Okay, so we'll get putting this stuff away. This is my pasta. Let's put those there because they're two different kinds of pasta. And then I've got my extra spaghetti. This back pantry here is my overstock. So I have all of these things already in glass containers in my actual kitchen, but this is my kind of my overstock area. I just wanted to go and put my sushi rice with my other rice because otherwise I won't know where it is. These are my chocolate chips. They are cheaper at Walmart if you are looking for a allergy-free option. So I have these ones, and then I have this big bag that we bought together at Costco. I don't know what to do with them because I don't want to open the packages. I don't want to compromise the freshness. And I mean, I guess we're getting into baking season, so I'm probably going to be using these a lot more. I just don't know a spot to put them. There's not like really shelving in here, so I just kind of just shove stuff in and things get lost very quickly in here. I need a better system for this area in here. This is just kind of my mishmash drawer. I really want to find a different spot for my beans because I have white beans in here and I have kidney beans in here because they're just not big enough to go into a bucket. That's that stuff we bought the other day. I think that's about as organized as it's going to get in there, which it's not really organized, but at least I kind of know where things are. I have my things I use the most are at the front, and then the things that I barely use at all, like my special, like tapioca flour, tapioca starch, weakling, like all that stuff's at the very, very back because I barely use that stuff. So I'm just going to put these extra, I got an extra Dijon mustard and an extra liquid smoke. Liquid smoke I'm going to put in here with these spices. Just throw it in here somewhere. The Dijon mustard I'm actually going to go and put with my other stockpile stuff, like with my flowers and stuff, because I have other vinegars back there. So I'm going to go and do that. Yay, so I'm super excited we got that freezer cleaned out and that pantry all kind of organized and got my spices, and now I got a nice big list that I'm gonna go and do some price comparisons through Azure versus my Amish. I'm gonna go out to the Amish on Wednesday, so I'm gonna take that list with me and kind of compare the prices. But I did already actually go on and add some stuff into my Azure order. It's a fun day, and I'm glad you guys got to come along with me while I do some organizing. I love organizing. It's very weird. Like, even as a child, I was very much into organizing and cleaning, and was a weird kid. Thank you so much, guys, for coming along with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. Hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.